Good morning and welcome to 365 Days of Amazing Stories with Theo Mayer. We are on January 10th, 2025, and I'm continuing the story of what the rose did to the cypress. Now, Mir al-Fruz responsible for thousands of young men losing their lives, all for the sake of her beauty. Their heads placed on the battlements. And here we have Almas Urubaka, who is wishing to do nothing more than to avenge his brother's deaths. Now, when he rode to the city of King Quimus, he saw his two brothers' heads on the battlement. He went off into the countryside, and eventually he discovered a couple that looked like they needed help. Old they were, and it turned out that they had no children, none to watch after them as they grew old. And so Almas Urubaka took residence with them and helped them around their place, lodging his horse in an outbuilding. Now he began to make inquiries. He made his way into the city, and for several days he would walk through trying to find some lead that would bring him information about the answer to this riddle. But he heard nothing in the entire time. One morning he awoke, made sure all was good with the elder couple who were taking care of him, and made his way to the palace. Now, the palace was huge, and as was the case within the walls of the palace, there were typically great gardens full of fruit trees and fragrant blossoms, fountains, usually a stream running through it, so that if there was a siege upon the kingdom, the royal family at the least could take refuge within these walls. Almas Urubaka, he went around the entire palace walls and found no way to really enter. He knew that beyond the walls were gardens, but on top of the walls there were sentries, armed and marching constantly, making sure that no one tried to enter. Almas Urubaka eventually came to a stream and saw that the stream led into and through the walls into the garden. And stripping himself to his loincloth, he entered the stream and floated through underneath the walls and into the garden. After pulling himself from the bank and allowing his body to dry, he wandered through the gardens. He thought if anyone was to come and see him, he would act like a madman, not knowing anything or what he was doing, and in that way would hopefully simply be led out of the walls. But during his time of exploring the gardens, no one was there. No one at all. Until he came to a group of women that, he had to assume that they were the attendants of Mir al-Fruz. They saw this mostly naked but incredibly handsome young man come walking up to them, and when they tried to inquire why he was there, he mumbled and such ways that they thought, what a pity that such a beautiful soul would be crazy like he was. After some time, he wandered off, and the women went to Mira Firuz to tell her what they had just seen. And we'll stop the story there.